Hi, I'm Jess.
Hi, I'm Kristen.
And welcome to Rediscover, a space where we engage in authentic conversation about life as we grow through it and whatever comes up along the way.
Nothing is off the table here. We talk about the real stuff, the hard stuff, the beautiful moments, and everything under the sun.
Around here, we're always rediscovering, sharing empowering stories, and connecting our hearts and minds with every facet of life.
We invite you to be part of the conversation as we broaden our perspectives, release limitations, and grow to create our most joyful and fulfilling lives together.
So grab a cup of something cozy as we rediscover all the best parts of you.
And bring a little magic into your day.
Hi everyone, I'm Jess.
Hi, I'm Kristen.
And welcome back to this month's episode of Rediscover.
I was really trying to hold in a laugh. Welcome back.
We were going to record this episode like a week ago
A week
or
and a
two.
half ago.
Thank you for your patience. We had to push out a week just due to...
I had the plague.
You were sick, yeah.
My voice did not sound like something you want to listen to on a podcast for an hour plus. It was not cute.
So it's okay. We're back today. I feel like the timing always works out. I texted you that. I always say that because every time I get a delay on an appointment, an interview, a podcast recording, whatever it is, I'm like, this was meant to happen because the timing is always perfect. And I think it really was.
I think it was too.
Because you texted me later that day and you said you were right. And I said, why?
Yeah, because was it that morning we were planning to record, like, when are we going to re-record this thing or whatever? Or not re-record,
I
but
think
you know
we
what I mean?
picked a new day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then and
that
already
was
getting
the
so
day.
nervous. Yeah, and then I texted you later that day. I think I just said, you were right, in all caps.
And I was like, about what?
I want to, like, find the text thread.
I remember it. We'll pull it up.
And we'll pull it up. You were like, yay, I'm excited. I know whenever we have delays, it is always totally meant to be. And I'm like, yeah, I agree. And then literally like 3.5 hours later, I just say, you were right. And you say, about what? And then I sent you a picture of my engagement ring.
Yay! Kristen got engaged that same day. So we're just riding high right now.
Yeah. I'm reading the rest of her text and it's so cute.
I was really excited.
Oh, you said, did I just say it was going to happen soon or did I guess a specific place? Because you thought I was saying you were right about me getting engaged.
Like, wait, did I predict the engagement? No, I did not. It was just about...
But I said, no, you said whenever we have to delay recording, it's always for a reason.
Yeah, because if we would have recorded last week, it would be a very different episode than what we're going to have today.
I would have had to wait a whole month to tell everyone.
Guys. I know.
And I'm excited because I feel like a lot of you have been around for a really long time. And the people that have reached out to me who have been in our lives for a really long time, well, my life specifically, obviously, because they're reaching out to me, have been like, I want you to know, like, how overjoyed I am because, like, I've been around for this journey and I know that the road has not always been smooth and, like, I'm just so happy to see you happy. And that has just made everything so much more joyful and it has made it all just, like, so much happier and more magical because of what it took to get here.
Yeah.
And I think that, like, finding your person is probably the least linear thing that we can do. Like, you go to school, you get an education, you get a job. Although, let me tell you, that's not really linear these days either.
Nowadays, it's a little up
But there is, like, a process, right? But finding a person and, like, you can't manufacture love and partnership.
Yeah.
And so it's innately this very, like, convoluted thing that's unique for everyone. Like, everyone's love story is different.
Yeah.
And
that's the beauty of it.
It's beautiful, but it's also frustrating because we're creatures of habit and we're like, well, if I do these things and I put in the work, like, why am I not yielding the result? And it's just not how it works at all. And it's so hard to see the forest through the trees when the trees are growing really close together sometimes. But yeah, it's just been so lovely to, like, have, I mean, so many people just, like, seeming to be genuinely thrilled. And even people who, like, don't even know Anthony, they just, like, somehow know. Like, my friend Lindsay, you know Lindsay Diamond. Yeah, she's, you know, living in California, being an animator and an artist and so cool. And she was like, I'm just so happy. Like, I can't wait to meet him. And I was like, I hope you'll come to the wedding. And so we were just having this moment to like genuinely reconnect. I don't know if she's going to listen to this, but it was so sweet. And it made me like overjoyed all over again.
Yeah.
Not because it was like making other people happy, not in a people pleasing way, but just because every person who's been around for so long validating this made it feel more real to me. Mm-hmm. And like, okay, like this is it, because all of the people who know me really well and know what I've been through and know what it's taken to get here are really on board.
Yeah.
Even though they don't know the whole story yet, even though they haven't met the person yet, they can just like somehow sense that it's good.
Yeah.
And that to me speaks to like obviously a higher power than like just like, oh yeah, let's get married. Like right. A really truly like universe or like orchestrated thing.
Yeah.
Which I think it was, because I told Jess about this earlier, but there were like a couple of clues as to like the fact that he had a ring and he was planning to propose that I totally missed.
In plain sight.
Like in literal plain sight. And I just never even saw them. And I think the universe was like, we're not going to spoil it for you. Just be patient. And I really, it's so funny. And I meant to tell you this earlier, but I'm glad I waited. I had this moment like, I don't know, a few weeks ago, a month ago, something like that. Because every so often, like, Anthony and I would be doing something, we'd be out on a date, or we'd be having, like, going for a hike, or, like, having some, like, romantic activity, and I'd be like, oh, maybe he's gonna propose. You know, maybe today's the day, whatever. And then when he didn't, I would have, like, this little moment of, like, letdown. Like, oh, he didn't do it. And there were even a couple of times that I was either, like, exhausted or maybe, like, a little tipsy that I was like, you didn't propose! Like, I thought you were gonna do it, and you didn't. And he would be like, I felt really bad when you said that. I'm sorry. Like, you know, I love you, right? Whatever. And he was just trying so hard to keep it a secret that he was planning to do it. And, but I had a moment like more recently where I was like, you know what? It's okay. Like, I'm good with where we're at. I don't want to rush this thing because I don't want it to be over. Like,
yeah.
I want it to be a surprise. I want it to happen when it's going to happen, and it'll be great. And like I had gotten to this place of peace about it.
Yeah.
And then literally like it was probably more recently. It was probably like a week or two ago. And then
Classic.
Literally it happened.
Oh.
And I was like, "Oh, okay."
Amazing.
So, it's weird because people are like, congratulations, and I associate that with like I accomplished something, and I'm like, guys, I literally just like sat there and said yes, like, and freaked out.
Well, it's the ultimate like example of feminine energy of receiving, right? It's like, it's kind of cool to think about it that way. Like, you can be congratulated for just being and for accepting and receiving
that's so
something.
True.
And I think that's beautiful. Like, we don't have to just be celebrated for a tangible accomplishment.
Right.
It can just be for being you, for living in love, for living in that space. So
that's so true.
That's a good takeaway.
That's a good takeaway.
That kind of just like
came
through, but like I think we need to take a note of that.
I love that. Yeah, because I'm like, okay, you get congratulated when you get into med school or you have a baby, but all of those things are like a lot of physical labor or a lot of time spent studying and a lot of education. I don't know, hearing him talk about all of like the plans, like, oh, maybe I'm going to do it then and whatever, and how many months he actually had the ring and everything. I'm like, am I worth all of this effort? But I really felt like it wasn't really, it was kind of a rhetorical question. Like, I didn't feel like I was questioning it in that moment. I was like, well, clearly I must be, because like now he's committing to spending the rest of his life with me. So there is something very validating in that quiets a lot of the voices. Not saying that like you need to get engaged to feel validated in your relationship, but for me personally, as somebody who has, you know, been in relationships where I was constantly in doubt because I was not validated or, you know, celebrated in really any way. I'm like, oh, I am worth all of this time and effort and planning and strategizing.
Yeah.
And it's not because of the ring or...
Not because of the lack of anything.
No.
Just like, it's like one of those full circle, beautiful moments of just pure...
Like, oh, I get to have this.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know if I was going to get to have this. I didn't know if that I deserved to have this. But I guess I do because it just happened.
Yeah.
And I said yes, so...
I love it.
Here we are.
I love it.
We have a frump wedding to plan.
So, okay, how did he do it?
Okay.
If you want to tell the story.
I will try to keep it brief because I really don't want this episode to just be like, Kristen got engaged. Bye. Like, I think we have some other important stuff to touch on too.
But I think this is like a really exciting, pivotal moment in life. So we'll just take as long as
I know.
we want.
I was thinking about like a couple years ago us making episodes about like singleness and me being like la 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 la.
But isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Like I literally just had that thought pop in my head like 3 minutes ago. I'm like, we were just sitting on this same floor in this same room on this same computer making an episode about a season of singleness, and now we're here.
Yeah.
And not only does that like exhibit the growth of Rediscover and like how far we've come in just like the podcast setting, but like in life too. And you and I have been through so many stages of life together, like over a decade.
I know.
And that's so cool. And I think that's why like when you got engaged the other day, I was like, oh my God, like we're in another stage now. And it's so exciting.
And we were sitting on this floor. I mean, different carpet, but same floor.
Yeah.
14 years ago.
Yeah.
Wild. Yeah.
And we used to talk about this all the time. Like, oh my God, when I get married, like,
Yeah.
the guy I'm going to marry, I'm going to date that. Like,
gosh, I don't even want to know what I was saying.
who even knows what we were saying? But like, that was, especially when you go to an all-girls Catholic school, it's the narrative, right? Because everyone's like obsessed with marriage. And
because that's like what you're supposed to do.
blah, 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 whatever.
Get married, have kids, stay home.
Yeah, whatever.
Don't have opinions.
Which is also a, like, you know, completely wonderful and valid path, but like it's not the only path. And
I'm also exaggerating. I don't think I, for one moment in high school, felt like any teacher or anyone was like pushing that narrative. Like I think it was a pretty empowering place overall. Like
but like where does that come from? It must come from like it comes from like some collective idea. I think, and maybe it is infused to some like approaches in Catholicism, but I don't really know.
Gender
like,
normative.
It's something so like far beyond like what we could really comprehend, but like now becoming conscious to it, it's like, oh, that's kind of what we were fed at the time, I guess, or maybe that was our perception.
Because it was always like when you get married, and there was never anyone saying like, obviously they were very big on all of us, you know, getting accepted to and going to college, so it wasn't like anyone was discouraging us to have like career paths or anything like that.
That was also really big too.
It was also like when you get married, when you have children, and that like domesticity narrative was sort of just assumed.
Yeah.
And so we all just assumed it as well, and there was never any like, well, that's an option.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, it was sort of like implicit. It wasn't like overtly stated.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's that's interesting to reflect on. But anyway.
But
when it's a choice, it's more authentic and true, and
when it's
better to be like consciously choosing that versus just going with emotions.
Mm-hmm. And when it's with somebody that also is like very empowering and like whatever you want to do, I will support it. You know, I've never once felt like I could go to Anthony with the weirdest ambition. He'd be like, cool, how do we make it happen? Yeah. You know, to answer your question, and this is also going to be like a growth moment at the end of this, for me and maybe something to ponder, but
I love it.
It was Tuesday, and we woke up and I was like, look, it's beautiful outside today. Like, you know, it's Buffalo. So this might be like the last really nice weather week we have until next year, because fall is like already really like starting to happen. And I was like, let's go on a picnic. Like, it's really beautiful outside. I want to be outside when the weather's nice and it's sunny, and I just want to be outside all day long. So, we had started going on picnics like last summer, and when we were first like newly dating, and Anthony had never been on a picnic in his life. And I was like, oh, let me show you the way of the picnic, because I like to kind of, it's my favorite way to like romanticize my life and like romanticize a meal.
Yeah. This makes me want to go on a picnic.
I just love them. I literally have like instrumental music playlists that I use for picnics, because I want like a little background thing, but I don't want like lyrics or like noise. I want like little film scores. And we'll like get charcuterie and like a really nice bottle of wine and like whatever fruits in season, things like that. Mm-hmm. And so the first one we went on was last summer, and Anthony was like, this is great. Like, I've never went on a picnic before and really enjoyed it. So then we were like finding other occasions and other places to like go have picnics. Like, we would go have like a sunset picnic at the top of a hill. And then we had one like on the lawn of like the Buffalo History Museum, like after it had closed for the day. So no one's really there.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. And like, what cop is gonna be like, oh, these two people are sitting peacefully having a meal on a blanket, like, get out of here, you hooligans,
you rascals,
youths. Like, nobody cares. So at the beginning of the summer, or maybe it was in the spring, my mom got us like an actual picnic basket. She was like, cute. I know you guys like to go on picnics, I'm gonna get you this picnic basket. And it's cute. It's like the handles and the like red gingham thing. It's like adorable. And it just became this thing where we were like, let's go on a picnic. And so we would go on one like every other week. So we went and got all of our provisions, got some charcuterie, had like a great bottle of wine. We got a Wegman sub.
I was going to say, I think if I did a picnic, I would want to get Wegman subs.
Pretty much every time there is a Wegman sub involved.
They're kind of the perfect picnic food.
And like it's late summer, so everything is just delicious right now. So we got like some peaches and whatever. Yes. And so we're driving around and he's like, just tell me when to pull over whenever you like see a spot that looks good to you. You pick the spot. I'm like, okay. So I went ahead and was looking for a spot and I found this big tree that I liked, and we start like setting up everything and we have our picnic and we're like listening to music and chatting and eating and whatever. And then we're sitting around like after just enjoying like the day. Like the sun is sort of like coming through the trees in the like Komarebi way that everyone makes fun of me for loving, but it was just really like idyllic. It was beautiful. And we're just sitting and chatting, and then he starts like talking about us and our relationship and like how happy he is and me and everything. And he's like, you know, you make me want to be a better man, and like every day with you is blah, 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 blah. Like all that kind of stuff. But Anthony is a very positively affirming person. Like I think one of the ways he gives love that he doesn't realize, like he thinks it's acts of service pretty much exclusively. It's not. Like I think words of affirmation is a really significant way that he shows love, because he's always very intentional about what he says. And so I was just like, okay, whatever. He's just saying nice things because like he's happy and we're just like doing something we enjoy. He's just like in the moment. Sure. I didn't think anything of it. And then like I'm just like, okay, cool. And I'm just looking at him and he's like looking at me very intently. And I'm like, yeah, I hear you. Yeah. Trying to like let him know that I'm listening. I'm like nodding my head a lot. And I'm like, yeah. And then he like stands up kind of and like reaches behind the picnic basket and pulls out the ring box and then like adjusts, you know, his stance so he's kneeling. And I'm like, what's happening? And I immediately panic. I don't know why. I just was so shocked. I had no idea. I don't know how he got the ring box behind the picnic basket without me seeing it. He said he was waiting until I was like kicking off my like tennis shoes to like put it behind the picnic basket. He had to like wait until I was looking away for a second. Like, no idea.
Sneaky.
So immediately I'm like, what's happening? What's going on? What is that? Where did you get that? Where did you get that? Like, what? I go,
the store.
I go, is there someone hiding in the bushes? Because I thought, I don't know, I like thought there was going to be this like paparazzi moment where someone like jumped out and started taking pictures of us or something. Yeah. It was so bizarre. And the poor man is just kneeling there, like looking at me. And apparently he said to me, I will answer those questions when you answer mine. And I have no recollection of this because I was just like, I think I blacked out. I have no idea. And so I was like, oh, sorry. Yes. And it was really like silly and sweet, which is kind of how our relationship is. So it felt really authentic. And at first I was upset about two things. Not upset, but like, oh my gosh. First, that my nails were blue.
But they were really a pretty blue. They really were.
I had not gotten my nails done. So I had painted my nails this like fun blue, like this kind of light blue color because football season is starting this week. And
it looked really pretty with the green grass.
Thank you.
I'm not kidding. It really did look beautiful.
And I was like, oh, go Bills. And Anthony was like, oh, cool color. And I was like, yeah, I'm doing it for the Bills season. And so in his hetero brain, he was like, cool, she likes that color. I can propose to her while her nails are blue. And so I like put the ring on and we're like, you know, having this little moment. And then I'm like, my nails are blue. He was like, I thought you liked that color.
So sweet.
And then the other thing I was like a little momentarily like about was that there wasn't anyone there to like document it, because I have this irrational fear about like forgetting everything and like losing those memories, and like we were talking about like wanting to document things so you can remember them.
Yeah.
And he kind of spoke to it before I had the chance to vocalize it, because he knew that that was something that I had said that I wanted. He was like, I know you wanted someone to be here to like photograph it or video it, but in every moment that I was trying to like create for the last several months, like to do this, and I was trying to figure out how to have someone video it or photograph it, it just felt really manufactured and it didn't feel authentic. And I'm sure there are ways to do that and make it feel authentic, like hiring professional photographers and things like that. But he was like, I really, just the more I thought about it, the more I really just wanted it to be for us. Like I wanted it to just be you and me, and I wanted it to not feel posed. I didn't want it to feel like, oh, we have to be mindful of the fact that there's a camera over there.
Yeah.
And he was like, that's why I decided to do it today, because like we do a lot of fun things, but like we go on picnics together, just you and me. It's always our time to like sit and talk and be intentional and like slow down and just like have a little moment for us where like time feels like it's not really moving, and like we can just really reconnect. And like I'm paraphrasing some of this obviously and inserting some of my own thoughts about it, but
it's so beautiful.
He's like, it's just a thing that you and I do, like it's just you and me. And so I really wanted it to just be you and me. He was like, if you want to get professional engagement with photos, that's fine, but I wanted this to just be us. And the more that I thought about it, like afterward, I was really glad that it was, because I think I would have been distracted if there had been someone there, or I would have felt like, oh, you know, we were going on a picnic. I was just wearing like shorts and a tank top. I didn't really like do my makeup that day, and like my hair was sort of ratty and whatever, and we had been like laying around and had been blowing in the wind. So like, yeah. I just, you know, didn't look what I would consider my best, but also it's not about that at all. And we were sitting there. I'm not going to cry. We were sitting there. I am going to cry. Like right before it happened. Oh my God, I didn't think I was going to cry.
We can cry.
I'm so sorry.
We're crying in the engagement
You guys, I think I'm getting my period tomorrow, so that's probably why I'm crying.
We cried in the single episode, but now we're crying in the engagement episode for a totally different reason. Circle. It's beautiful.
I was talking about something, I forget, but it was something I was excited about. Honestly, it might have been wine. We might have been talking about wine. He's just like looking at me while I'm talking, and he sort of has this like different look on his face, and I'm like, what? And he's like, you're just so beautiful. Aww. And I was like, thanks. I didn't cry at the time. I was just like, oh, thank you. But then like he's talking, and then like he's proposing, and I see like him tearing up, and I'm like, oh my gosh, okay. We both cried, and I cried like the rest of my makeup off. It was just really beautiful and pure and simple. It was simple and quiet and intimate and peaceful, and it wasn't like any engagement I've ever witnessed, been a part of, or like seen on Instagram. Like, it wasn't dramatic. People didn't rush out screaming from somewhere. It wasn't orchestrated. Like, it was just like he felt that the moment was right, so he did it. And I felt really like you said earlier, like quiet. I was just like, okay, like, yes. Like, sorry for freaking out. I'm just surprised that this is happening, but obviously the answer is yes. And I just feel very at peace about it. Like, I'm excited. People are like, are you excited? And I'm like, I mean, not like this. Like, I am, but I've overwhelmingly, the emotion I feel is just like calm and content. Like, I'm just like, okay,
right.
We're getting married.
What we were saying earlier is like, true love is like, it's fed to us as like this adrenaline rush roller coaster, like extreme romantic gesture type thing, right? I'm like, those things can happen, sure, but like I think both of us in our own relationships have found like true love is actually very quiet. It's very grounded. It's very personal and like intimate, and it just feels calm. It's not this huge rush. It just feels safe. And that's like the best and biggest takeaway, I think, from life lately.
Yeah. Because then I started thinking about all the people that I know who either have been with their partners for a really long time or just for a little while, but have that sort of like quiet contentedness where they can be sitting in silence, or they sort of just know what the other person's thinking and feeling and what they need, and they can anticipate it without it being this like dramatic, over the top, like, look at what I'm doing for you kind of thing.
Yeah, there's no ego involved. It's just love.
They don't need constant validation because they feel constantly validated. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Complete like security. Yeah. Well, and that's why I really love the term partner more than anything else too, because it is that like, it's like this agreement between two parties that it's a team and it's working together, and it's this beautiful like exchange with no like expectation, but like complete like giving and receiving cycle. Right. And then you're working towards the same goal, which is, you know, creating a life together, which is, it's just like so refreshing. Yeah. It's such a like amazing experience.
Yeah, although I am enjoying the word fiance, I'm not gonna lie.
Well, yeah. I mean, but yes,
obviously. My mom and my sister and I went to Anthony's restaurant the day after to celebrate. Just the three of us have like a little girl dinner thing. Girl dinner. And there's a lot of regulars at his restaurant, and so they have an onstage kitchen. They'd be walking by, like leaving their restaurant, and we were sitting at the little like bar. Yeah. Like the kitchen bar where you can, you know, watch them all working. And they'd be leaving and he'd be like, ciao, y'all. He says, ciao, y'all. Like, have a great night. Thanks so much for coming in. Good to see you, whatever. And this day he goes, have you met my fiance? And so I'm like head on a swivel the whole time. I keep turning around to like meet people and then introduce them to my mom and my sister. Have you met my fiance? I love that. And he's like doing this like jazz hands. Like, oh my goodness. He looks at the ring more than I do. He's like, it's just so every morning exciting. He's like, ha. I was like, do you feel relieved? Because he's had, I don't know if I mentioned this, y'all, he has had this ring in his possession since April.
And it is September.
Yes.
It's a lot to
that's hide. That's a long time to keep that big of a secret. And he was like, we're driving home after our picnic, and he's like, I was like, do you feel relieved? And he was like, I mean, not in the sense that like, oh my God, I'm glad that's over, but in the sense of like, yeah, that was really hard to keep from you for a really long time. Aww. He's just like kind of like basking in it now. He's like, it's nice to like see it on your finger instead of just in the box. And I've just been staring at it for months. And his sister knew that he had had it since April, and so like we FaceTimed her, and she was like, oh, finally. She was like, I swear to God, Anthony, if you didn't do it soon, I was just gonna tell her myself. So it was really sweet. His family's so excited, and that makes me feel really great. Like they want me to be part of their family. Like his cousins I haven't even met have been like messaging me like, hey, no, we haven't met yet, but like, welcome to the family. Aww. We're a wild bunch or whatever. And I'm like, thanks. You don't know me and I don't know you, but like, I'm excited that you're excited. And I think it's just because they love him so much and they want him to be happy, and they know that like his road has also been rough. And yeah, it's just been really joyful, and it's really made me realize that like this whole occasion of like engagement and planning a wedding and having a wedding is really an opportunity for us to also like share love with all of the people that we care about. And so I'm trying to be really intentional about that, and I'm just excited. I've definitely been that girl who's like, my future wedding, blah blah blah. Like I have pictured it over the years, and I think I pictured like, you know, the dress and the venue and like things like that. But now the overarching thing that I'm thinking about is just like having everyone together, and like I was thinking about like having a bachelorette trip, and I'm like, what other occasion in life am I going to have the opportunity to have all of my best friends in one place to like spend time together? Like that's such a gift. And so I want to be really intentional about that, and I'm just excited to plan those things, mostly because of all the people that will be involved in that. And you know, my mom was super excited. Like we were leaving the restaurant one day, she's like, let me hug my son-in-law. Like she's just happy that her family is growing. And
well, and she's like, she truly has always wanted like this true pure love for you too, like you know, over the years. And she, you know, has always really held out for like a good partner for you. And you know, You gotta trust Sue's judgment on some
Yeah,
things.
you do. If you need someone to give it to you straight in life, she is your gal.
Yeah.
Because it's true. And sometimes I felt like she was being harsh with people in the past, but it's just because, you know, like I was saying with my little sister, like, I think especially at this point in our lives and as our relationship is evolving, my mom is like, please, like, learn from what I've gone through. And it's hard to do because you really do have to make your own mistakes in this life. But I think she wants it so much for me, not because of, like, again, the, like, normative, like, woman gets married, has kids, but because she feels like I deserve it. And, you know, you can't change the past, but if she can, like, help somebody else, like, I feel that way about my sister. Like, I can't change the things that have happened to me, but if my example or the things that I've gone through helps her to do something differently, then, like, it will be worth it to me. And so I am seeing that parallel, and I'm just excited to also, like, have this moment with her. Like, I get to do the, like, you know, I have to get to go, like, wedding dress shopping with my mom, and it's just, like, you know, again, like, a really precious thing that you only really get to do once. And so I'm looking forward to all those things, and I'm not rushing them, and I'm just like, whenever they happen, that's great, and I'll enjoy them. But I really want to enjoy the process, and I know it's going to be stressful, and I know I can hear everyone who's already done it like, okay, you say that now, but I know it's stressful, and I know it's expensive, but I want to take my time. And so no, you guys, I don't have a date set yet.
And I think that's such a huge thing to note, too. It's like, why do we always jump on people who have just gotten engaged or getting or are engaged or whatever, or even who just had a baby? Like, why are we always like, oh, you got engaged, when's the wedding? Right. Oh, you got married, when are you having kids? Oh, you got a kid, when are you having another one? Like, why do we do that? And I think that becoming conscious of that and letting people relish in the moment. If you're always looking forward, you don't actually get to be in the moment that you're in now, because at the end of it all, like, you were always looking forward, and you were never really, like, immersed in what was happening. And I think it's the perfect opportunity to practice presence and to practice really being here, and again, like, shutting out the noise of people. It's just, it's such a collective pattern of people just asking, what's the next step? What's the next step? Like, let's just be here and, like, love it and relish in it and enjoy it and slow down.
Yeah, I agree. And I think I don't blame them, because, you know, getting engaged is sort of like the precursor, right? Like, it implies that you are going to, in fact, get married.
Right.
But at the same time, I don't know, I really understand and appreciate people who have longer engagements, because it is an like, just practically speaking, it's an expensive thing to do. It's not like,
you gotta plan it. Like
if you plan a vacation a year or two in advance, that's, like, way less expensive, you know, depending obviously what your vacation is, than a wedding. A wedding is a huge expense to take on. And so I think eliminating a lot of the stress surrounding that, you know, financial piece will mean taking our time about it. And, you know, when it happens, it happens. And I know everyone's just excited to, like, hear about the plans and start. My sister's excited to start planning and things like that. And we can talk about preliminary things, but, I think we want to wait a couple years. So, but don't worry, we'll have, like, a little wedding planning update monthly on Rediscover.
Yeah.
So hopefully my experience can, you know, if we, like, talk about it going along, can help other people too. But yeah, I think
intentional wedding planning.
That's
the series tidbit.
And as far as the engagement goes, like, the thing that I want to be the takeaway, and that I took away more overarchingly for myself and, like, my own personal growth, was, you know, the things you think you want because they're what you see and what you're exposed to aren't necessarily the things that are authentic or right for you. And I thought I wanted this, like, semi-grand proposal with, like, beautiful photography and a perfect manicure and all these things. And the reality is, like, love isn't like that. It's not picture perfect all the time, and it's not perfectly orchestrated, and nothing about Anthony's story or mine has you know, been cookie cutter. And so I realized after the fact that it actually was perfect just the way that it was. And I'm trying to use that as an example for other things, like even the wedding. Like, okay, what have I been holding on to in my mind that's like, oh, I want it to be this way because of an aesthetic or because of like a thing that I've seen or because of a thing that people tell me. And I really just need to learn to block out the noise and actually just think about, like you said earlier, just think about the two of us and what we want and what feels right for us, and like everything else will fall into place. So I'm throwing the rule book out the window, guys, just like we did with Rediscover. No rules. Yeah, I'm looking forward to coloring outside the lines with this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. I think that's like the best approach you can take. And I think it's one that you will walk away from feeling fulfilled with, you know?
Yeah.
Because I think when you're doing things for everyone else, or you're doing things for this ideal, like, or this idea you have in your mind, it's not really the reality of what can be so beautiful in the real moment.
Right.
Like accepting how beautiful it can actually be.
Right.
So I love that approach. I'm just so excited for you.
Thank you.
I'm just like, it's just amazing. Like we are at this point.
Yeah,
Isn't
I know.
Insane?
It's
like,
wild.
It's insane.
I was like, that's why when your dad was looking at my ring, I was like, I'm old now, because I had this moment where I was like, you used to like take us to
the Beach Boys concert.
Yeah, we went to a Beach Boys concert with you, and you would build us like bonfires in the backyard. I would like sit there and do my homework when I would just stay here, and it's just so wild. All these people that have been around for all these milestones, like another milestone really makes you appreciate it. And
yeah,
I think your parents are a great example of that, like quiet partnership, that just like calm reassurance of like the other one's always there. And like I watch, like your mom was so excited that your dad was so excited that his best friend was in town, and just like watching her observe that, and then her being like, okay, I want to go to church at this time, and him being like, I gotta go change, Jesus needs me.
The Lord needs me. Oh my God, it's so funny. It was cool that like my dad's best friend from high school was over this morning, and then Kristen came over, and I'm like, this is my best friend from high school, and like you guys, like it was like parallels, like we met each other's like best friends from high school in that moment, and I'm like, this is wild. You know, they're sitting at the island in the kitchen like laughing so hard, like belly laughs about like their friends and the antics they used to get into, telling these stories that are probably so embellished beyond words, but like there's just like pure joy like radiating from them, like being back together. And I don't know, there's just a lot of amazing moments to reflect on in like these seasons. And it's, you know, and some of like my dad's friends that they're talking about have actually like passed away too, and it's like you can hear this like somber, like they're laughing, and then they'll pause, and like there's this somber pause of, oh, like they're not with us anymore, but they're still alive in these memories. And I don't know, life is just like, you have to be here for it. Like, you have to be in these moments. Like I'm just so tired of like worrying and future projecting and all of these things that are taking me away from this moment of being here. And that's why I love your approach to this like engagement wedding season so much, like already. And it's something you can really ground back to, like when the things get crazier, when the planning's in the thick of it, you can come back to this conversation in this moment and be like, I want to be here for it. Even if it gets crazy and messy or overwhelming, take a breath and be like, I'm gonna just be in it. And go through it, because life goes by too fast. And there's just so much goodness here, and it's so exciting. It's beautiful.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited to just enjoy this like very unique season. So many people are like, wedding planning is stressful. I'm like, but like fun, right? And I understand that it is, and like, you know, even looking at the little like TikTok checklist and stuff that my sister sent me, I'm like, okay, this is a lot of things, but also like one thing at a time. Can you like break it down and like have it, each little thing be enjoyable? One thing at a time. And like, of course, we're talking at the point where we haven't done it, either of us haven't done it yet. Right. But
I don't know. I'm actually really, like, I think it's going to be exciting. I know it's going to be stressful.
Yeah.
But it's also a really good opportunity for me to, like, I don't know. It's a good opportunity to not be, like, reactive to things that, like, aren't overly important. It's like, is this a moment where I could be conscious and present instead of reactive to, like, things being out of control? I don't know. It's a real, like...
And I also don't have to do it alone. Like, Anthony is on board with the planning, wants to be a part of it. And so, you know, that's another way, I guess, that, like, our relationship isn't hyper conventional, because a lot of times it's like, okay, the girl and her maid of honor plan everything, the guy shows up. He's like, no, I would like to be involved. Yeah. So that's, I think, going to be, you know, both a challenge and fun. But I'm also realizing I'm okay with being naive about some things. Like, everyone's like, okay, if I knew then what I know now. And I'm like, but what if it's okay that you didn't? Like, if I knew then what I know now about pregnancy or childbirth or motherhood or starting this new job or planning a wedding, like, but you didn't, and you still did it. Yeah. Like, yeah, maybe there were some hiccups or you didn't do everything perfectly, but no matter how many TikToks about wedding planning hacks I watch, I'm not going to get everything perfect. Something's not going to happen perfectly, and I have to be okay with that, because as a type 1 perfectionist, I have to get okay with that now.
Yeah, I think that's the healthiest thing you can really do.
And so
it's a great, this is just a really great opportunity.
I think it's going to be, I'm trying to approach it that way. Like, okay, as a planner and as a person who likes to be in control and have everything go perfectly, here's a scenario where you have a lot of time to plan and control all the details, but you know that the outcome is not going to be exactly like that. Like, you already know that going in.
Yeah, it's like, this is like an opportunity to disidentify with all of those things that you've perceived that you've always been.
It's like studying for an exam for hours and hours and hours, and knowing that you're going to go into that test and not get all the questions right. Like, it's okay. Yeah.
But it's still going to be,
like, you're still going to do well.
Fine and great. And you did your best.
Since when are weddings, like, thing that I don't know, there's a lot of, like, scrutiny. Like, how many people go to weddings and they're like, ooh, I don't like the blah, blah, blah. Well, it's not your wedding. So, if you don't like the way my cake tastes, if you don't like what my dress looks like, if you don't like the shoes that I decide to wear, it's not your wedding. Yeah. And I'm really okay with being, like, I'm going to call it lovingly ruthless. Yeah. Like, I know that the people closest to me will not be like that, because they can understand that it's my wedding and they're happy to just be along for whatever, but I just don't feel the need to criticize the way somebody does this very personal thing. Like, getting married is super personal and super intimate. The fact that we invite hundreds of people to, like, be part of it is kind of wild to me.
Crazy concept.
But I love the idea of it. I'm just really okay with disassociating on this one and just blocking it all out and being like, you know what? Yeah. Your opinion? Not important. Sorry. Just not. Yeah. Aunt so-and-so from wherever who I haven't seen since high school.
Exactly.
I just simply and lovingly do not care. Yeah.
I know. It's so funny. I feel like, too, and, like, I think we've all been guilty of this at one point, but it's like, I think a lot of people will make other people's weddings about them, and it's like, and, like, I've done this over the years too. It's like, when you're single, it's like, oh, I don't have anyone. When you're in a relationship, it's like, oh, at my wedding I'm gonna do this. It's like, you're all, like, again, it's like that projection, right. And it's like, can we just separate and observe and allow the actual couple to have their moment, and know that your own moment is going to occur.
My friend Kelly and her husband eloped in, like, the snow somewhere in, like, I don't even know where. Was it Canada?
How cold.
Right? And the photos are beautiful, and they, like, loved it, and it's literally stunning. And I'm like, not for me, but love that for you. Like, I love that for you, because it's what you wanted, and it's perfect, and you have this beautiful memory, and you loved it. That sounds terrible to me. Like, being in the snow and cold on my wedding day is just not a thing that sounds fun to me. Yeah. And that's okay. Yeah. It's a very personal thing.
I knew when you told me you got engaged, I was like, well, it's either going to be a summer or fall wedding. Yep. I know that.
Sure is.
I was like, probably summer, but I could see fall too.
Yeah. I think if it's early fall, because we are going to get married here.
Well, it's still warm.
We know we're going to get married in the state of New York. That's about it.
Yeah. That's fine. I mean, it's only been a couple days. So.
I really just want to hear someone say, by the power vested in me, or by the state of New York, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
It just sounds so official. It sounds better than, like, by the power vested in me, by the...
Florida.
By the whack-ass state of Florida.
Sorry, Florida.
Sorry, Florida. I mean, I reside in you, but you are...
Cray.
You're something else.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That's the update.
That's the update. And you will all hear about it because I'm going to need some wisdom. I'm gonna lean on Jess a bit for wisdom and graphic design expertise, and Lord knows what else is gonna come up along the way.
I'm ready.
I have a lot of uniquely talented people in my life who all bring something like very different to the table, and I think they're all rock stars, and I'm so excited. And I haven't formally asked anyone yet, but like, you guys, you have to be there. I'm gonna cry.
I'll be there. Okay. Are you asking me right now?
No, I mean,
no, she's not asking
I wanna
right
I wanna like do the little like put together.
I know nothing.
Gift boxes.
I know
and things.
nothing.
I mean, I feel like it's kind of a given though. Like, if I did, you would be like, "What did I do?"
I'm here for the surprise. I'm here for the anticipation of everything.
Yeah, I have no idea when I'm gonna get that together, but we'll see.
Take your time. We got time.
Yeah.
It hasn't even been a week yet.
I'm just trying to look at it as fun. Like planning a vacation is fun. Like planning a trip to Disney was fun for us.
Well, because it's so creative. Like you get, and I think too, what makes this so special is like, number one, it's like your one big event.
Yeah.
But number two, it's like there's so many fun pieces to it, and when you really break it down, it's like it gets to be so customized and creative to what you want. Mm-hmm. And you don't get a lot of opportunities in life where you really get to like break down something down to the details and like have like the color schemes you want and the type of fill in the blank. Like there's just, it's so creative and so fun. I'm hoping, I mean, I know the food will be really good because
I think Anthony would die of shame if it weren't.
And that is something that I truly am looking forward to.
Yes. Everyone will be very well fed, and if they aren't well fed, we were like, if we get married in Buffalo, should we do like late night Teds or something? Like, what should we do? Pick something local.
Yeah. There's so many local.
I know. And we have so many, especially him. I say we because I'm claiming them all as my own now, but he has so many talented friends, like especially in that realm, like pastry chefs and just like pizzaiolos and all these people, and I'm like, okay, time to go to work, y'all.
Yeah, there's time.
So it's gonna be fun, and I'm excited to watch everyone's like talents come out, because then it really will be like I'll get to look at all these details and see all of like their contributions. Like I'll see them in that, and it'll make it really special. And yeah, I'm trying to look at it like this is the biggest party I'm ever gonna throw.
Yeah.
So I want it to be memorable, but I also want it to be about us.
Yeah.
So
I love it.
Yeah, it'll be good.
Yay.
One little detail that I guess I'll share. I want my sister to sing a song during the ceremony because her voice is angelic, and
I can't wait.
She's just like phenomenally talented. We don't know how that happened because it just doesn't really run in the family, but
it's just
she has a voice like an angel. And if we do get married in the fall, I already have the song picked out.
Fab.
Yeah.
I won't
and
ask
fun fact,
questions.
it is on, you guys can try to guess what it is. It is on the playlist that I sent you that we're going to link in the show notes.
Oh, yeah.
Because I've decided that I used to make a Spotify playlist for every Christmas season, and I would intentionally do it because I would put all of these like really good hidden gem Christmas songs that weren't all the mainstream ones that you hear on the radio over and over again. Like,
do you still have those? I kind of want them.
Yeah. It's called, my Spotify is public, so most of my playlists should be viewable. It's just KRosso16, like if you type that in. But I have a Christmas playlist called Yuletide, and that is like all like a couple of like fun ones, but a lot of like under the radar stuff. And so I decided the other day, like, I don't know, I was just thinking about September, and I was like, what even is September? Like, it's kind of still summer technically.
Yeah. But
it starts to look like fall. It's just, you know, Anthony calls it shoulder season. Like, it's kind of a fun transition time. And so I've been making these playlists for, like, summer and winter and whatever. But I wanted, like, a little transition playlist to sort of, like, keep both in mind, like still like savoring summer but looking forward to fall kind of thing, and just to like kind of be present in the limbo, like to enjoy that in between moment. And so I was talking about it on the drive home. I was like, I should make a playlist, and Anthony suggested I call it Autumn Eve. So that's what it's called. It is also public. We'll link it in the show notes. But it's like an hour and a half of music. It's not like, 7 hours of like for studying, whatever. It's like a good, commute to work or whatever. But that song is on that playlist.
Oh boy.
So
go give it a listen.
See if you can
give us a guess.
Pick out which one it is. And I've heard it before, but I heard it again for the first time in a while recently, and I was like, well, first of all, this is going on the playlist. Second of all, it just like held new meaning. Not that we got engaged in the fall, but September, like in my mind, is kind of fall.
It's the
it's the transition. I kind of listened to it with new ears, I guess. And as I was listening to it and the person who sings it, I just like heard my sister singing it, and I was like, oh, she would crush this.
Oh, that's exciting.
It's like right in her wheelhouse. So, yeah, in my mind, that's like the only real visual I have somehow right now, though, is just my sister singing at my wedding. Like, that's the only visual that there is at the moment.
You know what I just thought of, like, that's so cool is to have this episode right now, like what we're recording right now, for when you're all the way in the thick of it, or during like the actual wedding season, or even after. It's like you will always have this recording of how you were feeling week of, which I think is so cool.
That's very true.
Like, even if you don't have a podcast, I feel like something cool to do that I've seen other people do is they do, they record a video of themselves, or they record a voice note of themselves talking about something that's happening in life right now. And even if you don't publish it or send it to anybody and you just keep it for you, I think that's a really special thing that's so simple that we all have access to. Like, if you have any sort of smartphone, just to like capture these moments of life, and because they're just so fleeting and they're so beautiful, and like they come and go, but I think it's really cool.
I like to do that when like I like to send voice texts. I've definitely sent them to you before, but to friends, and then I'll record them like in the actual voice memos thing in your phone, not just in message. And so I have it and then send it from there, and that way I can like hold on to it. Like I have a voice text that I sent Bonnie like after Anthony's and my like, I don't know, second or third date. And I was like describing to her how I was feeling and how unsure I was about what was going to happen, because there were all these things going on in life and we were long distance and blah, blah, blah. But I was like, I think I said this on the podcast before, but I was like, Bonnie, I'm so fucking smitten. I don't know what to do with myself. Like, I've never felt like this about anyone. What do I do? Blah, blah, blah. And I still have that. And I listened to it recently and I was like, oh, you didn't realize everything was going to work out. But it's great to have that benchmark to come back to, just as evidence that it is going to work out. Like, whatever it is, it's going to work out.
So I guess this is the benchmark episode.
This is the benchmark episode.
It's so cute. The fact that summer is like summer was intense.
Summer was intense.
Yeah.
And it's over.
I know.
And now it's basically autumn. I mean, there's like a definite little chill in the air today.
I love it.
And yesterday.
Yeah.
Yesterday felt like, ooh, fall is coming.
Yeah.
It's
totally
kind of like gloomy, a little spooky, a little breezy.
I know. I am excited.
It made me feel tired. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I know.
Steven's a local celebrity. I don't know if you guys heard.
Yeah, so I guess we can recap that.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yes, we did go to the Chicken Wing Festival.
Yeah, that is news. That is relevant news.
Relevant news. We went to the Buffalo Chicken Wing Festival last weekend. Not as exciting as an engagement by any means, but
tell that to Steven.
Maybe in Steven's world.
Steven's like, will you eat chicken wings with me forever?
Yes, I absolutely will. But yeah, and I went to it about 2 years ago, and it was fun. Like, I had a good time, but this year it was on something. Like, it was so fun. And maybe it's because I had like the chicken wing aficionado accompany me this time.
You have,
but
the Chicken Wing King.
Yeah, that's a good name for
Chicken Wing King.
It was really fun. Like, if you're ever in Buffalo for this festival, like, highly recommend. It was basically, there were some local places, but then there were places from all over the country that make chicken wings themselves. And there were places from Connecticut and Wyoming and all over, and they all had different stands, and you get a bunch of tickets. Like, that's how you pay for your wings. So you give one ticket per wing, and you get to sample all these different ones. And the wings were good. Like, I think we speculate they had some sort of supplier, because it was very like consistent, nice and meaty. Yeah, it seemed like everybody just had a different sauce, but it was so much fun. So the other really cool part about the Chicken Wing Festival as of present day is they do it at Highmark Stadium, which is the Bills Stadium, and you can actually go down onto the field, which is so cool. And Steven and my mom were just living, because, how often do you get to go on the football field of the team you watch every week?
Right.
And they were, playing around and like throwing the chicken wing hat like a football, and like they ran down to the touchdown zone and all that. And
the touchdown zone.
Yeah, whatever it's called.
Go Sports!
Go Sports. And they started walking back to me, and these people saw Steven. He's wearing like a Buffalo Bills, like his Dawson Knox jersey and his chicken wing hat. They're like, oh, can you hold this beer, and like we'll take a picture of you. And it was this brewery called Ellicottville Brewery, which it's kind of a small detail, but like I've posted about it before. We've also gone there.
Yeah. We talked about it when we did that fall episode, like the fall in Buffalo episode.
Yeah.
We definitely talked about Ellicottville. I think you mentioned it.
Absolutely.
Brewing Company.
If you go to Ellicottville, New York ever,
you should.
You should, especially if you love to ski. Holiday Valley is very nearby. But it's like one of Steven's favorite breweries in the whole area. And he's like, oh my God, of course I'll take a picture. So then like later that day, he's on his Instagram, and there's a picture of him on like the Ellicottville Brewing Company Instagram. And then like this Buffalo local page reposted it. And then there was another Visit Niagara or something posted a picture of me, my mom, and Steven at like, the chicken wing. We like held up one of their signs.
Yeah.
We were the front cover photo too. I was like, oh my gosh, we're not even swiped. Like, we're right in front.
You guys are just so photogenic.
Thank you. But no,
Steven just radiates chicken wing joy.
I know. Well, he was shining from the inside out. Like, that's the only way I can explain it. He is just like, because he's this very tall guy with this gigantic obnoxious hat that's like so fun. And he's got a Bills jersey on. Like, he's in his element, and people just were picking up on that energy. Like, everybody wanted a picture. Like, because at these events, too, it's kind of like Disney a little bit. Like, if you're dressed to the occasion, people eat it up. They love it. So it was really fun. And this is like a side note, but still on the topic of chicken wings, when we went to the Jonas Brothers concert in Toronto. And they have a song called Wings. And we were just talking one day. We're like, wouldn't it be funny if, like, we incorporated the chicken wing hat into, like, an outfit? So I got these shirts made that said, "You are the wings I need to fly away." And it was a big old chicken wing plate with, like, blue cheese on it and stuff.
Yes.
And he wore his chicken wing hat. And we're in Toronto, so it's, like, basically Buffalo's, like, neighboring big city.
Yeah.
And everybody was, like, freaking out. They thought it was so funny. And I'm like, I love this. And he was just, the second most popular person at the Jonas Brothers concert after Joe, Nick, and Kevin.
Yes.
Yeah. So it was fun.
That is really clever. And also, I think former Jungle Cruise skipper Jess would really appreciate embracing the pun there.
Yeah. Yeah. It makes sense where my life has ended up as far as the puns go. Yeah. They're just like a very constant in our conversations.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. Steven is the most Buffalonian who is not a native Buffalonian.
I know. I think he's like official now after
that
weekend.
I think so.
You can't even like argue it anymore. No. So he loves it. I love how he just wherever we go, and it's so funny, like he'll just evolve and he'll adapt to wherever we are. If we're in Costa Rica, he is Pura Vida vibes. Like just beach.
My job is just beach.
He just loves it. And then like when we're in Ireland, he's like old man Irish sitting in the pub. I love it. I don't know. I think that's something I love to do is just embrace whatever we're doing, wherever we are. And it's been a very fun time.
Yeah. I guess I didn't really realize that, but now I'm like, I'm picturing all of the images of you guys in like the different places, and I'm like, Steven really does just like
He
go all
loves
in,
it. You know, like,
embrace it.
he's a very, like, he likes to really practice being really present and being really grounded in where he is. And I think that's really cool to just like it's not like your identity is who you are and you don't change. Like, that's just who I am. It's like, no, I'm like open.
Right.
I'm open to just embracing this. And then when it's time to move on, I like can shed a little bit and let it go and then move on to the next thing. And it's just been really fun. So,
Yeah.
in like a travel-y sense, I guess. So,
Yeah, but also in
life too.
a life sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be necessarily, like, it doesn't have to hinge on where you are.
Yeah. No, not at all.
It can be related to meeting new people or starting a new job or just any space you take up in life, basically.
Yeah. Just, and at the core of it, it's always like just authentically like him or that person or whatever. It's like always you. And everything external is just a bonus. Like everything outside is just like for fun and for, you know, enjoyment and really relishing in the moment. And then, you know, relishing in the next moment and then the next one, like as they come, but not rushing through them. So yeah, that's been a big thing. Yeah, I'm just really trying to like, again, I know I mentioned this before, but like the worrying and the future projecting, I'm just like really trying to break that pattern.
Yeah.
So
Steven is a good example of that.
Yeah, and he's just, I'll like swear by this, but like I really feel like you always attract a partner who can be a mirror to you, who can see your blind spots, who can like compliment you, and like he is so good at like the version of myself that I want to be. It's like being more present and being more like, you know, shedding the anxiety and the worry, and he can be very grounded in that. And he can also acknowledge those things and like whatever we're going through, it's like, okay, it's like a very grounded space where I can be like, okay, I can come here and I can feel safe knowing that I can let those things go.
Right.
So I love that.
Yeah.
We love a supportive partner.
Yeah. And one you can learn from too, because then that's kind of guaranteed continuous evolution and growth.
Yes. And like, that's the whole point of being in a long-term partnership, right? It's like, it's not just like, oh, we have the ring now and we have the wedding and that's it. It's like, it's like, no, like this is the start of it. Like this is the beginning.
Yeah.
Every day is a new beginning of like the next, I don't know. It's the next step. And like, there's no end.
What is it? The growth. Every day is the start of the next great adventure or something. Yeah. I'm probably misquoting whoever said that.
Yeah.
But it's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
It's continuous. There's no destination. It's just the journey.
I'm really proud of us.
Me too. I feel like we've really like broken through some major.
We found really good people.
Yeah.
Go us.
Happy for us.
Okay, what else do we have? I'm just stretching a little.
That's good.
I didn't get a lot of sleep last night, guys.
I know. My Aura ring is always telling me like, hey, you need to sleep a little bit more.
I don't actually have any awareness that I actually slept. Like, I think I was just lucid all night.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And I looked at the clock and it was 6 something and I was like, no.
Oh no.
It's too late now.
That's sad.
So, I'm not crying. My eyes are just watering from exhaustion. Anyway.
Thank you for still recording a podcast.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. No, I was looking forward to this. I just didn't expect to get to bed so late. But
yeah.
Listen, the older I get, the more that I'm like, that 8 hours of sleep is
necessary.
Crucial to survival.
I'm an 8 to 9 hour girly. And it's a very big difference when I'm not. I am obsessed with my Aura ring. I talk about it all the time, but like it's not on the podcast in real life. But I should talk about it on the podcast.
You should.
I'll do a little plug. This is not an ad. This is just me.
But like it could be.
But it could be an ad. Like I love it that much. But Aura ring is like it's a smart ring basically, and it tracks your sleep. Takes your temperature when you wake up, so you can link it to natural cycles, so you know where you are in your cycle. It can track your heart rate, all sorts of things. Exercise as well. Probably not as accurate as like other things, but I don't like a watch. I don't like a wristband. Like I don't wear it consistently. Like I can wear my Aura ring. It's so simple. And I don't even notice it. And I just wear it every day all the time. But it's so helpful. Even if I wasn't, but like as a chronic fatigue girly that I've struggled with that, like chronic fatigue, like syndrome over the years, just with everything that's gone on health-wise, to know like, okay, I am going to sleep around the same time. I'm hitting like the midpoint of my sleep chronotype consistently. I'm waking up at, these times consistently. This data is so helpful to know, okay, I am on the right track. Or if I'm having a really bad fatigue day, did I only get 6 hours of sleep last night? Is that like contributing to this? Do I need to slow down? It gives you little tips like, hey, your heart rate was a little bit elevated last night. That can happen during the second half of your cycle. Maybe take it easy today. I'm like, thank you. Thank you for letting me know. But I love it.
Thank you for your permission to take it easy
Aura.
today.
Yeah. So it's just, honestly, I'm very grateful for my Aura. Just, it's such a good tool. It's not a necessity by any means, but I think if it's something like, if you're trying to track your cycle or if you're trying to track your sleep, it is the most convenient and life-changing tool to have in your pocket because it kind of does it for you.
Right.
And I don't know. I wish I had had this my whole life.
If only conventional health insurance covered things like this that actually contributed to wellness patterns and healthy habits.
Literally. So if you've been thinking about Oura Ring, I will tell you, like, it was well worth my investment so much. And it's not like, it's an investment, but it's not like crazy. So it's definitely worth looking into. Especially if a doctor's like, track your sleep. Like, they used to tell me that all the time. I'm like, how am I supposed to track when I fall asleep? That's not reasonable.
Right.
Like,
oh, I'm feeling sleepy.
Oh, I better write down that it's 11:18. Like, I'm sleeping. I'm not going to write that down.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's very, 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 very helpful.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and the tracking your cycle thing, that's huge.
Yeah, it'll tell you, like, when you're ovulating and like green days and red days if you're like, safe to, have sex or not.
Right.
Like, it really
Go
is.
Off your hormonal birth control.
Yeah, and it's very effective from what I can tell. I think it's like 98 or 99% effective, which is the same as a pill.
With
that
perfect use.
wreaks havoc. Yeah, with perfect use. Like, there's
Right.
less room for human error when you're wearing a ring like all the time than like popping a pill, and it doesn't wreak havoc on my hormones at all. So
the problem is your health insurance will cover the pill, but not the Oura Ring.
Well, that's that. That's a big conversation.
That is a box I don't have the energy to open today.
Me neither.
I don't feel like getting mad, and if I open it, I will get mad.
It's
I'm just not up for anger today. Do you ever have a day where you're just like, nothing can make me mad today because I simply do not have the time?
It is a choice, isn't it?
It is a choice. If you decide you don't have the energy or the time, it's a lot easier to just be like, yeah, no, we're not going there today.
I'm just feeling better. I am actually feeling better recently.
Good.
Yeah, it's been miraculous, actually. I started working with my naturopath in March, and like I'm here in September. It's been really drastically different.
Wow.
Fatigue has decreased. Stomach is like, I would say like a 60 to 70% improvement.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been pretty life-changing, so I don't know. I'm really happy about that.
Good. Yeah.
It's more of a long-term approach. Like, it's not a 10-day antibiotic by any means.
Right.
No, I think it's been really, really helpful. So,
but then you also know that the results are going to last longer, too.
Because it's like from the root.
Yeah, you're not just slapping a Band-Aid on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, that's a huge win.
It makes me happy because I know for a long time you were like, I hope this one works. I hope this one works. And it's been so trial and error. So
it has.
Happy.
And it's just like, it can get so debilitating. But when you have like, the person guiding you being like, I know you've tried a lot of things before. I know that it hasn't been easy. Then that's easy for your doubt to creep in. Mm-hmm. You just need to like really believe and trust that it will work. Mm-hmm. And like just even that mindset shift of like, okay, I can't see it now. It might take months. Like, I think when you know it could take a really long time, you surrender it, and then it's like months pass and you get better and you don't even like notice.
Right. Yeah.
Because that's what's been happening. And Steven will be like, it's night and day. Do you not see this? And I'm like, what do you mean? But like, it actually has been significantly different.
So beautiful. Oh my gosh, that makes me so happy.
I'm really, really, really thankful.
You have had such a journey.
It's been really hard. Don't ever stay in a moldy apartment ever, or house, or anything. Like, please
leave
in any capacity that you can. Just be outside all the time,
right? Honestly,
I think that's find a new place to live. Like, it's just, it's not like everyone's like, it's so expensive to move. Yes, it is. But do you know what's more expensive than moving from a moldy apartment? It's losing your health for 5 years.
Right.
It's not a joke.
Having to regenerate your body.
Yeah. Like, I've literally had to restructure my cells, basically. Like, it's insane. But yeah, it's been a journey.
Consistent growth in a positive direction is like the most hopeful thing.
Yeah. Like, when you start to see results of something, like, and I think that's always been kind of tricky for me, because I think everyone's always like, you need to do this every day, but then there's like a million things you need to do every day to like change anything, right? And as a fixer, which, you know, we just talked about, like, wanting to fix things, like, I want to do everything and I want to change everything all the time.
Yep.
And it's not feasible, really,
to do that.
Realistic. Number one, I think, is accepting where you are.
Yeah.
Just straight up, like, okay, I'm here right now. And it's not ideal, but, like, I'm okay. Like, if this was my last day and this is how things are, that's what it is, and it's fine. Like, I have a lot of really wonderful other things going on in my life. Mm-hmm. But number two, it's, like, then focusing on, like, what really matters. Like, what is really going to affect your day-to-day, so much so that, like, this is the thing to focus on. And for me, that's my health. Like, it's my stomach. It's my, you know, nervous system.
Yeah.
So focusing on that. And then just doing it. And maybe not adding a million things on top of it. Maybe it's not like, I'm going to do this for a week, then I'm going to do this next thing. Then I'm going to do this next thing the next week. Like, I literally think I have just been focusing on that protocol and, like, working with what I've got pretty much all year. And, like, I've done other things and, like, have creative projects and whatever, but I haven't been, like, trying to consistently build many other things. It's just been really getting my life back, basically. Right. And it adds up, and I've noticed a difference, and I'm like, that's insane. Because some people go on a fitness journey and they'll, like, work out, and they'll see, like, muscle changes or muscle tone.
The results.
And it's like that. Like, this situation is very much like that. But it's, you know, your, like, health and functioning versus, you know, physical appearance, which is also great. It's just, you know, not the 100% priority.
Not your ultimate goal right now.
Yeah. Yeah. And although exercise is a great component and it does help, I love these TikToks nowadays that are finally like, I was working out super hard and like doing all these extreme HIIT workouts and all this extreme like activity, and it wreaked havoc on my hormones. So now I do low impact and I feel so much better. And I'm like, yeah.
Because before people worked out, they were just working, right? Like, that's the whole thing. Our ancestors were just moving their bodies all day, every day, because that's how they survived. And then when we became human beings who sit at computers behind desks, we lost that component of physical activity. But really, it's just about moving your body. Yeah. So, I mean, and if you want to be a bodybuilder, that's awesome. Like, go for it. Yeah. I think I'm also in that place where I'm like, you know, I can consistently do like 20 minutes a day. Yeah. But it's going to be 20 minutes of something that like feels good for me. And the goal isn't going to be like, how much muscle can I build or whatever. It's just going to be like, do I feel better after than I did before? Yeah. Okay, great. Then we'll do that again.
Yeah, exactly. I know. I do little workouts with my mom a lot of times before work, and they're not long. They're like 20, 30 minutes. Yeah. But I'm like, this is a nice thing to do to incorporate into my activity or into my day. Yeah. And it doesn't have to be more complicated than that. It doesn't need to be an hour and a half at a gym that's 30 minutes away. Like, no, I don't have time for that. No. Nobody really does.
I am a big fan of the working out from home. And I like COVID was when I started doing it.
It's so
not because
easy.
not because I went to a gym before COVID, mind you, because I sure did not.
Yeah.
I just was like, I don't know, people started doing it and I was like, oh yeah, like this is a thing I can do.
Yeah.
Whatever. And at the time, like at the beginning of COVID, my job was very stressful and I was on my feet all the time, but I kind of needed to do something that involved me moving, but it was just like to release some of that stress, like to help me just sleep and rest and recover. And so I started doing like working out from home, like YouTube workouts and stuff. Mm-hmm. And I have literally never looked back.
I know. It's amazing. I guess our moms in the 90s with their aerobic videos at home really had it going on.
I know. And I used to do those with my mom. And I'm like, wait a minute, this was always a thing.
We had that one Pilates DVD we had in high school. It was the one workout DVD.
What are you looking forward to doing in the fall? Are you going to be here for the fall?
We are going to be here for the fall. So
we can do fall activities together
for once. Fun. Yeah, I mean, I want to see some leaves. It's really cute. Even, 3 or 4 years since the first one, Steven he's from Florida. He still gets so excited about leaves.
Aww.
And there's some,
I mean, I do too.
I do too, but like it's just, again, pure joy radiates from the inside out with him. Like, it's adorable, but, like, there's even some little trees that are, like, randomly already changing. And he's like, oh, my God, it's happening. I'm like, yeah, I know. But, yeah, I mean, I just want to do all my classic fall things. Like, see some trees, go to the parks, go to the cider mill. I love the cider mill.
Love the cider mill.
That's my favorite. It gives me so much serotonin. I don't even know how to
Which one do you go to?
The
Mayor Brothers? Yeah, me too.
Because, basically, this Mayor Bros cider mill, you go and you wait in a line. And you get to pick out donuts, and then they have apple cider slushies at the end. Mm-hmm. They're so good.
I'm not going to lie. I'm a hot apple cider girly, though. I love the apple cider slushies at Mayor Brothers, though. And I get the glazed apple cider donuts.
Yeah, the glazed, I think, are the best.
The best. Just like the OG. They're so good.
They're so good.
And they're, like, smaller than, like, if you picture a Krispy Kreme donut or something like that. They're smaller than that, so I feel like I'm not a big sweets girly. They're not overly sweet, and they're smaller, so I, like, don't feel gross after. Like, I eat one. I could probably eat two.
They just complement.
They're just great.
The cider
it's just like a good little treat. It's just, what is the thing? Like, if I don't get myself a little treat every day, I think I'll die. Yeah. I feel that so much.
Every day, especially in the fall.
Yes, but I am looking forward to it. However, I was really sick when I was packing to, like, fly back here, so I, like, didn't even consider the fact that the season's changing. I was just like, it's 95 degrees, because I was in Orlando, and so I brought, like, all the summer stuff back.
Oh, my gosh.
I have, like, a sweater.
Oh, no.
I am unprepared for the chill in the air. I am a summer girl through and through, but fall is so magical here, and
so good.
Last year, I was in Orlando for, like, all of September, and at least half of October, so I think I missed, like, the bulk of it. So I'm looking forward to, like, getting to be here for a lot of it this year. And, like, our fall temperatures, especially at the beginning, are usually really nice. Like, the air has, like, that nice chill to it, but it's not freezing. It's not hot.
Yeah.
It's just really mild and lovely, and so I'm looking forward to hot apple cider and football and leaves.
We really do get a prime experience here for fall. I think it's just, God, I love being 30. I feel like I just appreciate things so much more. Like, my late 20s, it's like, in my early 20s, late teens, I was just in such a rush to, like, go do other things, and, like, rightfully so. When you grow up with it, you just, like, it's normal. But coming back, I'm like, this is elite. Yeah. Like, this experience, it's just an elite life experience of, like, pure joy. Yeah. And just, it's so fun and blissful, and you just get to, like, enjoy it. Yeah. I love leaves. I love donuts. I love, like, ordering a pizza and watching football. Yes. Like, even though I don't even watch it most of the time, but it's just fun. Here we go again.
Here we go again. Yeah, tomorrow.
Oh my God,
tomorrow's the first game of the season.
It will have already happened when you listen to this, so.
But just, like, let's take a collective moment to manifest a win tomorrow.
Yes. We can wrap things up here for
She's like, we can stop now.
I'm like, I'm feeling good. I feel like we really got to the meat of some things, and I think really the main core of today was just celebrating Kristen. And
the main core of today is being present.
And being present. But
I
am really, which is celebrating you.
Thank you.
See, both things can be true.
Bringing back the themes and...
Full circles are my jam.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Keeping it relevant.
Whenever someone's like, what makes you happy? Like a journal prompt. It's like full circle moments.
Yeah.
That's what, like, out of everything in life, and like full circle moments. That's
really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's like the coolest thing. So
Rediscover innately is that, because it was like, we didn't know that when we named it that, but then we're like, oh.
Can you believe
I get it now.
Can you believe we named it Rediscover and it just like evolved into what it is?
Because
today?
I don't remember exactly what the initial conversation was when we were naming it, but it definitely wasn't what it is now.
Well, it was the Epcot parking lots, and we took
Yeah,
Discover, but then we said Rediscover, but it's been
so it would be like evergreen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's perfect.
Well, it was the Epcot parking lots.
We'll talk to y'all next month.
Gather around the campfire.
Yeah. It'll be October.
It'll be October.
We'll be back in a couple weeks.
Happy almost fall, y'all.
Yes. Thank you for your patience on our delayed episode, but it was well worth the wait. It was very fun. This was a fun moment in time to document something really special, an episode that we'll have forever.
Yay.
So, like all of them.
Thanks for being here for it.
Thanks for being on the journey and rediscovering along the way. So,
and listening to me cry.
It has to happen every couple episodes.
It does.
Where someone's always crying.
It's fine. It's usually me.
Oh my god.
Anyway.
But all right. Have a wonderful September, and we'll talk to you next time.
Bye. Outro, take 1.
Thank you for joining us. Oh, hold on.
Outro, take 2.
Thank you for joining us for today's episode of Rediscover.
If you haven't already subscribed, hit that button and join the Rediscover fam.
Come back on the first Tuesday of every month for brand new episodes.
If you're like us and you have opinions about everything, leave us a review on Apple or Spotify. Your positivity inspires our creativity, and we love hearing from you.
Follow us on Instagram at JessicaFaye508 and positively.Kristen.
And check out Jess's blog at theroadjusstraveled with 1L.com.
Until next time, we'll talk to you soon.
Bye!